You never know who inspires you in what sense. While a majority of us are in a constant search of an inspiration that could motivate us to do something great in life, Shanice is a 21-year-old young woman who finds herself an inspiration in the most distinctive space. A life-changing incident hits somewhere deep in her heart. Keeping her inspiration in mind, she takes a bold decision. A decision that could cost her life, but she knew she had to do it. The consequences of her daring step would want you to do something in life. Hello, wonderful people. I'm Scott Leffler for WonderBot. And here is an incident from her sister's life makes woman take a bold decision years later that changed her life completely. Before we begin, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more amazing videos. Shanice was brought up in a very warm family environment. It won't be wrong to say that the family, held the top priority. Her parents were these school sweethearts who knew each other since the age of 16. She saw another fairy tale when her elder sister Linda married her beau right after completing her higher education. To Shanice, life was nothing but a beautiful one until the day she finds her sister struggling. While Shanice was barely 14 years of age, Linda decided to move in with her partner, Josh. She was excited to start her life with him. While Shanice was expected to be a little sad about this, she was happy for her sister and for herself. Shanice was glad to know that she, as the younger sibling, won't have to oblige her elder sister's orders and fulfill her stupid demands. Just like any other siblings, Linda and Shanice shared their side of craziness. Linda always dominated her as she was the elder one. She would ask her to get everything while she would lay back on the bed. Shanice was, but of course, irritated with her elder sis and was often cranky at her. So when Shanice learned that her sister was moving out, she knew that now she was the master. Though initially she was happy to have her elder sister's wardrobe all to herself, she soon only started to miss her. She would miss their cute little fights, the way they would go shopping together, and how Linda would tease her. She felt isolated. Shanice decides to meet Linda over the weekends and energize herself for the upcoming week. But things didn't go as planned. Shanice had a lot to talk about to Linda. She took a bus all the way to Linda's place, and throughout the way was making mental notes of what all she had to say to her sister. As she reached her place, she never thought she'd be finding Linda in that condition. As Shanice was walking towards Linda's house, she saw her brother-in-law, Josh. He was sitting in his red truck and had a very stern look on his face. She stopped by him to greet him, but strangely, Josh went past her without meeting her. Shanice found it a little awkward but did not bother much about it. It was only after she met Linda things made sense. Shanice knocks at Linda's door in a hurry. As she steps in, she was shocked to witness what she saw. She was least expecting something like this. Linda was sobbing. She was in tears, her hair undone, her eyes puffy and red, her voice choked, and her mascara ran down her cheeks. Shanice was scared. Shanice ran to Linda and hugged her tight. She questioned her if Josh did something unpleasant or if he had hurt her, which makes her cry. Shanice wipes off her tears. She couldn't see her sister like that. Linda's response shocked her. She said in a stern voice that she's asked Josh to leave. Shanice knew that something terrible had taken place between the duo. Shanice, for an instant, couldn't believe what Linda told her. She then took her to instincts and recalled that even her parents asked Linda to not marry at such an early age, and it was probably their immature behavior that they have landed in such a bad phase today. But Linda had an entirely different story to tell. Linda told Shanice that the couple had been trying to have a baby for a year, but unfortunately the things have not been working out as expected. The couple had already spent enough money on IVF treatments and were not in a position to afford another attempt. However, Josh wanted to give it a try too tough to ever succeed. Shanice had tears in her eyes, knowing that her sister was going through so much and she had no clues about it. That was not all, and Linda told her that she'd recently suffered a miscarriage and she was now not optimistic when it came to having a family. Shanice stayed over her sister's place to convince her to give it a try another time. However, things were going out of control. Linda was moving into the state of depression, and nothing in life gave her happiness. She did not even let Shanice and Josh meet her. Her husband and sister were both worried to see her like that. Then Josh came up with an unorthodox idea to cheer his wife up. But would this idea work was something both Shanice and Josh were unsure of. Little did Shanice know that her life would turn a 360 with what was coming. Josh had this thought of asking his own sister if she could act as a surrogate for their child. However, he was not sure how Linda and his sister would react to this one. After all, it was a very big thing that Josh would be asking his sister to do. It was the only way he could return his wife's smile back to her. Will his sister agree, or something more unfortunate was yet to come their way? Initially, Linda did not agree of Josh's idea, but after much convincing, she agreed. They invited Josh's sister over to their place to ask if she was ready to make such a big sacrifice for his brother and his family. The couple did not invest in much hopes with the sister, as they knew it was something too much to ask someone for. As Josh's sister heard about the situation her brother landed into, her heart melted. She could see in his eyes how badly he wanted to have a family. Moreover, Linda's miscarriage news left her speechless. After thinking for a moment, the least expected words came through her mouth. Josh's sister agreed to help her brother. She wanted to give her brother and Linda the happiness they've been craving to taste since long. She couldn't help them from tasting the joy of parenthood. She was all up for embarking on this new journey. Yet again, she was not aware of how one decision of hers would impact the teen Shanice. Shanice was astonished at Josh's sister call. She was surprised by how selflessly the woman agreed to help her brother. How can one, without thinking about one's health, agree to do something this demanding? Carrying a baby inside one's womb and then at the end of 9 months handing it over to someone else needed courage. But was Shanice thinking all this when she should have been happy for her sister? Shanice had these vague thoughts that whether she had a heart this big to do something like that. Does she have the courage to carry someone else's baby in her womb and then emotionlessly hand it to the parents? She was lost deep in her thoughts when she got the news of Linda becoming the mom through surrogacy at last. Takes a decision. When Shanice learned about Linda finally turning into a mother and tasting motherhood, she couldn't control her tears. She was so happy that tears ran down her cheeks. That day, when Shanice was barely 14 years old, she took a decision. She promised herself that someday, in the future, she would want to make someone's dream of becoming parents true. If she ever got a chance, she would love to act as a surrogate for someone. Poor Shanice couldn't have thought of the consequences back then. Shanice was just 21 when she first met Jana and Steve. The couple was looking for a surrogate, and Shanice knew it was time to put her promise into action. She decided to act as a surrogate to them and flew all the way to Los Angeles and undergo an IVF treatment. But unfortunately, things did not go as they were supposed to. Shanice had already seen Josh's sister during the phase when she was carrying Linda and Josh's baby in her womb. She somewhat was aware of the challenges that pregnancy brought along, but what she was feeling was completely different. After her first trimester, her morning sickness manifolded. Something was off then. Shanice was very young to carry a baby, and things were turning stress-worthy when her nausea was accompanied by sleep deprivation. This wasn't all. Her stomach began to grow enormous. This was not at all usual. It would keep on growing and growing. She decides to meet the doctor then. Every woman knows that from the onset of her 5th month of pregnancy, the belly begins to grow. But Shanice was experiencing it a little soon. Though the pregnancy did not interrupt her daily chores, except for the fact that she had severe back pain, her bulging stomach wouldn't stop from growing large and large. Jana and Steve were worried as well. They were confused at the sight of Shanice's belly size. The couple was over the moon to have got Shanice as a surrogate mother for their child, and such strange sights were indicative of the complications. Will Shanice be able to bring fortune to the couple? The gynecologist was too taken aback at Shanice's concern. She was in her 2nd trimester, and the doctor performs an ultrasound on her. She rubs some gel over her stomach and starts looking in the screen to find out the issue. And the results left the couple and Shanice both wondering. Steve, Jana, and Shanice developed cracks over their heads. All they hoped and prayed was for a proper and healthy baby. But the doctor's expressions made it all clear. Is anything wrong? Are there any complications in this case? Isn't the baby responding? Shanice was occupied with all these unpleasant questions, and then finally the doctor broke the silence. The doctor spoke out the words least expected. You're carrying triplets, Shanice, and the babies are growing, due to which your stomach is growing than usual. Shanice was worried about this news instead of being happy. She was wondering how would the couple react to this news, as they wanted a single baby and not three. Would Jana and Steve go mad? Luckily, the couple was overjoyed with this news. They always wanted a baby, and now that they were getting three, they considered themselves to be very lucky and blessed. As months passed, Shanice's belly grew enormous. She faced severe body cramps and contractions, but she did not let it all bother her, as she knew she was doing a good deed. After 9 months of struggling with a huge baby bump, Shanice finally gave birth to 3 gorgeous babies. Jana and Steve were blessed with 2 baby girls and a baby boy. They named their babies as Willow, Daisy, and Harrison. A girl who was barely 21 years in age was so inspired by a little act of kindness she witnessed in her teen days that she did something this beautiful for someone. In the words of Shanice, it was a beautiful experience for her, something she would cherish forever. She says that it's no less than a pure bliss to feel some movement inside you. Moreover, she also thanks Jana and Steve for their tremendous support throughout her pregnancy phase. Yet, this wasn't all. After giving birth to the triplets, Shanice did not bid farewell to them. She visits them on every birthday and spoils her kids with all the love and care. She feels truly blessed to be attached to those babies as someone no less than a mother. Also, to all those people who questioned her decision, she had something for them. Shanice shed some knowledge to all those who had not supported her in this bold decision. She says that a lot of people have this misconception that the surrogate mother donates her eggs to the couple. That's not the case. The surrogate mother just serves as a host for the development of the fertilized egg. Shanice also says that pregnancy is no cakewalk. The phase takes a toll on a woman's body. Not only is her health disturbed, but her hormones undergo a major change. Moreover, it's not only physical changes, but more psychological ones. And when it comes to experiencing in such a young age, it has even adverse effects. Shanice is currently in a relationship, and she shares the ill experience of her life she had to face now. She recently had a miscarriage and wonders that giving birth to a set of triplets in her young age had somewhere hindered with the uterus, and thus she was facing problems in carrying the baby. However, she still feels proud to be a surrogate to someone and advise others too to do something like that. Shanice says that she would advise surrogacy to anyone who desires it, as it's completely safe. But she also advises the one going for it to have a proper research over the pros and cons of the subject. It's extremely important that a surrogate mother has constant support around her. People often think that surrogacy is done for making money, but this is an entirely wrong perception, as a surrogate mother is never paid for carrying a couple's baby, but all she's paid for is expenses that she'll have to incur for the baby while she's pregnant. This is an emotional settlement and not a financial deal. Shanice had another thing to add to her tale. She feels that in surrogacy contract, a surrogate mother is given more control and deciding power to make decisions, but she feels the biological parents should be given more control, and they should be the deciding authority, as it's their baby, and they have a right to say in everything concerning the child. Shanice's tale is the one which has inspired a lot of couples to go for surrogacy treatment. It, at the same time, has somewhere changed people's perception of this medical treatment. It's needless to say that this young woman had fulfilled the dream for a couple in the best way possible. She is a true inspiration.